Nikita S. Adams. Hey, Nikita.
Hi. Fiche pas.
All right. Welcome back home. Welcome home.
Thank you. This is my second home, my home away from home. I love Ghana.
As it should be. It really should be. I was just telling the group that Sheila was here. You're a very good friend of Sheila.
Yeah, and
Walcott.
I'm so sad that I missed her last week.
She was here and she gave us some great information on the movie industry and how to get into the movie industry and what she looks for as an executive.
Yes.
And so one of the things we ended on was artist representation. And we've had some good conversation even today before y'all got here about agents and managers and all that good stuff. So we're going to jump into that conversation as well. But I want you to give them a frame of reference. Who are you? How did you get to Hollywood from DC? Y'all know that's where I'm from, right? Me and Sheila and Nikita.
Isn't
that crazy? We're all from the same place and we managed to be doing almost the same thing. So I want you to talk to our audience today. How'd you get your start? How'd you get to Hollywood? And some of the things that you have learned on the way to getting there.
First of all, Akwaba, everybody, Fiche pas. So as she said, my name is Nikita Adams. I was born in Washington, D.C., her hometown also. However, I was raised in North Carolina. So there was a time when my family moved to North Carolina and I was between North Carolina and D.C. and I was raised on a very small pig farm. A lot like, you know, young people in Ghana. Like I didn't have any running water. We had to bring water into the house for cooking and for bathing. So very, 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 very modest upbringing. And I didn't know what it meant to do TV or film. I just know I looked at TV all the time. And I thought my grandmother put people in the TV. I thought she was responsible for, I couldn't figure out how she got the people. I just didn't know. However, I saw two movies that were very pivotal in me becoming an entertainment executive. One was A Soldier Story. And the main character, I don't know if you all have seen that movie, but the main character, whose name I forget, and I'm so embarrassed. The main character in that movie was a black attorney who said he went to Howard University Law School. And at that point, I had never seen a black attorney. I didn't even know black people could be attorneys. And he became an attorney at a place called Howard University. And I knew where that was. It wasn't too far from where we grew up. And so, although I didn't want to be an attorney, I knew that if there was something that I wanted to do that was beyond what I could imagine, I could probably make that happen at Howard University. And that was because of a movie. And the reason why I wanted to become a person who made movies was watching a film with Sissy Spacek called Night Mother, which is based on a play. It's a very, very dark movie. It was very sad. However, the main character, although her primary goal in her life, which was also her goal in the movie, was something very dark and dismal. At that point in time in my life, I had never seen anyone set a goal and make it and do it. So this is gonna be what I'm striving for and do it. I'd never seen that in my life, in my real life. And that mesmerized me. And I think I was probably in the 8th grade and that left me with a feeling. And that feeling haunted me, it stayed with me, and I wanted to be able to create that feeling in other people. And I then realized that that's what a filmmaker did. They create feelings in folk. So I knew I was gonna go to Howard University. I knew I was gonna be a storyteller, a professional storyteller. And so I went to Howard University. I studied TV and film. And I'm gonna give you the very short version. I left Howard University. But while I was at Howard, the whole 4 years I was at Howard, I worked for PBS, which is a local broadcasting station, public broadcasting station. Is there an equivalent to PBS in Ghana?
I'm not sure.
So it's where you see Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, is public television, TV that's curated by the public and whatever that community is.
Yeah.
So I worked there for the full 4 years I was at Howard, and I left there as a senior producer. Then after I graduated, I went to work at BET. So I started at BET in like June, and that September they moved me to Los Angeles to help launch the BET offices, which was fun. So while I was at BET, some of my friends, and you'll hear me refer to this, so some of my Howard friends and I, while I was at BET, we did a feature film that was low budget, terrible, looked crazy, But it actually had a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? So although it was very low budget and very slapstick, the concept and the genre that we picked matched what we were trying to create. So it looked low budget and it looked very slapstick, but that's what we wanted. So we achieved what we wanted. And that was during the days when you could actually get distribution for your films. And I know you all are too young to remember this, but there were Blockbuster videos and 2020 videos. And so our film was in 2020 video. You could go to the video store and rent our film. And that was a huge win for us. Wow. Like we were probably 23, 24. So anyway, I left BET after BET merged with Viacom, and then I went everywhere. I was an assistant here, a PA there, I was at New Line Cinema, I was at Telepicture, I was all over the place as an assistant because after I left BET, I knew I wanted to do film as opposed to TV, right? So I just was an assistant everywhere for years. And then after doing that for a few years, a young lady that I was an assistant for on an HBO project landed a job as the senior development executive for Jamie Foxx's company. This was 2007. This was right after Jamie Foxx won the Oscar for Ray. Okay. And she said, can you be my development assistant / creative development executive? I said, sure. So then I probably called Sheila to say, girl, what's a development executive? What's a development assistant? I didn't know what that was because I had done production all that time. I had done TV and I had done, physical production. I didn't even know what development was. And the very interesting thing was I could never find exactly what it was I wanted to do. So I would produce, and I did enjoy producing, and I would direct, and I enjoyed directing, and I enjoyed writing, but not really. But I knew there was something that I wanted to do that would mix all of those together, and I enjoyed business development, but not really. I didn't want to be a BA. I couldn't quite figure out what it was, the right recipe for the career that my heart wanted. And then she called and asked me if I wanted to be a development assistant. And I had to figure out what that was. I said yes. We from DC. We not gonna.
That's it.
And for Jamie Foxx, so I said, yeah, girl, I'm an expert at it. I do it all the time. I develop, all the time. And at the time, I was a marketing executive for another Howard University alumni. She was not from DC. So I had to quit. I quit the job as a marketing executive to become a development assistant for Jamie Foxx. And so I was there as an assistant / junior executive for maybe a year and a half. And then the lady that I reported to left the company and they gave me her position. So then I was head of development for Jamie's company. So I was with him for about 6 years. I left there, went with Forrest Whitaker. And so now at this point, I'm really an expert at development, honestly. I went to Forrest. You guys know Forrest Whitaker? So I worked for Forrest Whitaker. I did 5 projects with him. And then I left there and, I think I'm probably one of the only people in Hollywood to highlight this part of my career. A lot of people gloss over it. But after I left Forrest Whitaker, I didn't work for a while. I don't know what happened. No one hired me. I couldn't get arrested. I had a very, it just was a quiet time in my career. And then there was no excuse for it. It happened. It happens for everybody. A lot of executives, a lot of talent have that time. It just so happened to be my time. And so what I did was still needed to work. So I became an assistant again. So this is 10 years after being an executive. Then I start my career over as an assistant. So now I'm at 20th Century Fox doing business, or rather legal affairs. 20th Century Fox, and I was there when they launched, in the legal department, when they launched This Is Us. I don't know if that airs here. This Is Us, and also Empire. And I know y'all know Cookie. So I did the legal for that. I did legal clearances, but then I was tired of being unhappy because I wasn't doing development, I wasn't doing production, really. I would take time off to do a production here. I produced a film in Detroit, and I worked on the BET Awards every year. I was producing the International BET Awards, which is what you all see. So the BET Awards that we see in the States is different from what you all see. So I would take time off of my job to produce that when it came around, but I'd never had another job to go to, so I would have to always go back to my assistant job. So I was just sick of being an assistant, and what do? I quit my job and come to Africa. And you didn't know that?
I do now.
Yeah, so I quit my job and went to Africa. I was sick of being an assistant. I was sick of being in legal affairs. And for some reason, nothing was happening. Like and I kept waiting for something big to happen, you know, and I hate to sound like a preacher, but raise your hand if anybody waiting for something big to happen. You waiting for a phone call, you know, to take you out of, you know, the situation you're in, and it didn't happen. And I just, not the kind of person to be waiting very long. Right. I need to do it myself. So I quit my job. I quit my job and came to Africa. I spent about a month, like a little over a month. I was in South Africa. I came to Ghana, fell in love. And then I went back to the States. And I did that just I don't even know if I can really explain what I did that for. I wanted to pilgrimage, and I wanted to do some missions work, but I just wanted to do something other than sitting waiting for something big to happen.
Yeah.
And so I went back to the States, and guess what? Something big happened. Something big happened. I started getting these phone calls out of the blue. I got a phone call from the Hallmark Channel. I don't know if you all are familiar with the Hallmark Channel. The Hallmark Channel sent me to Canada for 6 months to oversee productions for their Christmas movies. Then I got a call to go to Florida to produce the Hip Hop Awards for BET. Then I got a call to start a company in Namibia. Then so for 3.5 years with no job, these big things were happening. God just started opening doors and opening windows, and you know, and I'm harvesting, and I hadn't planted anything in my mind, in my conscious mind, and I was able to sustain myself from freelancing and working on good big productions for a while. And I was having a great time, and I started doing other things, because in Hollywood, and again, I don't know how it is here in Ghana, but in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, Hollywood is all-encompassing, right? So, which is part of the reason why I quit my job, because there are things that I wanted to do with my life other than just my career that you can't do because you're always on. If you're a producer, you're always producing. If you're a director, you're always directing. So there's some things that I wanted to do that I just didn't have the space to do it. So I quit my job so I could do it. For example, traveling to Africa, I wanted to teach also, and just do some other things. And so I was teaching, I was freelancing, people were calling me to do these awesome, for these awesome opportunities. Then I get a call. So remember I told you I ran Jamie Foxx's company. So Jamie Foxx's agent in 2007, who I didn't even think liked me.
Why?
I just didn't think he liked me. And because I didn't think he liked me, I didn't like him. So he gives me a call. A girlfriend of mine who was a producer stopped being a producer and became an agent. And it was in the trades, it was a big announcement, and I just thought it was awesome that she was an agent. She had been a producer for a long time. And that career transition doesn't happen often. You don't have producers become agents very often. Sure. And so I thought that was awesome for her. So I went to go meet with her to have coffee, and she was like, well, my boss is looking to do that again. He wants to hire another producer to represent producers as opposed to agents to represent producers who do things the same way. And she said, we want to hire someone of color. And I said, okay, girl, if I hear somebody, I'll let you know. And she said, you silly. And I said, I don't want to be no agent, and I don't have the right kind of clothes. You all wear suits all the time. And I said no for a lot of different reasons. And after I said no a few times, I thought about all these other doors that were opening that I had not even knocked on. So I said, why not? Why not take this opportunity? And so she told me who her boss was, and her boss was Jamie's old agent. And I was like, oh, that's easy. He doesn't like me. He's not gonna hire me. It turns out he really liked me. It was a difficult situation. Sure. So the energy that I got from him wasn't jovial all the time. But he was like, oh, yes, I would love to have you on my team. So he hired me, and he hired me as a producer to represent producers. because he understood that I would have a different POV than a regular agent. Because agent trainings, agents come up as assistants, you know, and I was an assistant, but then they do a whole agent trainee for like a year or two, then they become an assistant again. Then they're given a few clients of a senior agent to what they call service. So you're servicing clients before you're able to have your own clients. So I bypassed all that. I mean, you know, and it wasn't fair, it was favored.
That's right.
So I came in, and it didn't hurt that I was Black, because they're and maybe I'll send it to you and you can show it to your audience. I took a picture a few weeks ago of all the Black agents. We just so happened to be in the same room.
Wow.
And it's about 12 of us, or 16, and about half are women. And so they needed a Black agent, they needed a woman, because, you know, Black people, not just Black Africans, but Black Americans, we create culture.
That's right.
You know, we create those things that are hot. And so those are the people who actually have a business where they need an agent, and you have to appeal to those people. So them hiring me was definitely strategic. I understood that. And I was just really glad to be in the room. And I was glad it was me.
Yeah.
You know, I was glad that it wasn't someone who was not of the culture, right? Because you can't see my hair, but I have dreadlocks. I haven't combed my hair in 20 years. And that only means something to people that means something to, right? So the clients that's important to, that was very important to them. I'm very Afrocentric. I'm very Black first. That's what I told my boss when he interviewed me. I was like, my brand is Black. I don't know, you know, I don't know white anything. I don't know, I can't call anybody white. I don't have a white guy. Oh, I got a guy that'll do that. I got a guy that'll do that, but he won't be white.
He won't be white.
They all Black. All my guys and girls are Black, 100%. And I don't make any apologies for that. And if I can't find someone Black to do that, then I just can't do it. And so that's been my brand. And I'm glad that was me.
Yeah.
You know, or someone like that to be in that position. And so my clients that I represent, they've appreciated that. So that's a very short, I don't know how short it was, but that was a very short explanation to how I got to this seat.
Yeah. It was thorough, it was short. It was short, but it was thorough. But the good thing is we got to see the full circle, because you talked about where you on a pig farm. I'm just learning about that.
Yes, I grew up on a pig farm.
I mean, to Hollywood, and just the juxtaposition of that, a lot of our people here, that's something that's common to them. I mean, not necessarily just a pig farm, but just living in a rural situation. Also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think us Americans live like that. But it was good for you to share that, because it also lets you know the connection, the bridge, why you're so attached to us here in Africa, and the passion that you have for African people and working with Africans and African Americans. That's very important. So gave a good frame of reference as to how we do what we do, DC girls. Hi everybody, it's Kay Stokes, General Manager and Executive Director of Dominion Television. Listen, thank you so much for watching our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends about the quality Christian lifestyle content that Dominion TV has to share. Yebeshe Abio. See you again soon, and may God richly bless you. Keep watching.